What is equality to you?
Yeah. I mean, okay. So first of all, cop out. I think it's up for a public conversation. Every community should have like their say and vote on that. I'm not going to dictate what equality should mean, but I guess there's a couple of sociological and philosophical sort of elements that go into it that I think are very reasonable. One is make a distinction between difference and inequality, right? So I don't think people want to live in a society where there's no difference. We are all different. We have different tastes and preferences and traits and biologies. So working toward a system where that is celebrated and doesn't translate into inequalities, right? So I mean, I think that that could entail that we still distinguish people for accomplishments in arts, in science, or even in the marketplace. But I think we need to rethink what the consequences of sort of winning and success look like. So in the United States, the reality has become that when you are a winner in the market, you are also more able to secure solid housing, get better opportunities for education, for instance, for your children, have more better health and safety, right? But I think disconnecting and disentangling those things altogether, I think, is a very good starting point so that we can define a set of public goods that we want to be available to everyone, and we decouple those from whatever success and winning looks like without having to kind of create some sort of weirdly uniform society where everybody is the same, right? I think we could have all sorts of competitions and all sorts of particular pursuits as long as they don't translate into rooted and inherited inequalities. There's a lot to be done in terms of rethinking ownership, public ownership. There's been interesting suggestions about basically giving people shares or sort of coupons that give them an ownership stake in a national or nationalized companies. But I think there's many forms. I don't think there's one solution. I think we can probably define a couple of sort of premises, and from there work out what the most practical manifestation of that would look like. And I'd be very surprised if we wouldn't see different solutions in different contexts for different communities, and that should be absolutely fine too. Coupled, of course, in my ideal world, with the freedom to settle and locate wherever you want on the planet, so that we don't have borders keeping people out and protecting people's particular interests. But we can have a real freedom to choose and be and live wherever you are. But yeah, a rethinking of what are public goods and a rethinking of what are private responsibilities. I think that's the very first thing to do.
The name of this podcast is Eurotrash, which means I have to ask you something a little bit more trashy at the end.
Mm,
Um, you said that to break down inequality, I believe you said that in your TEDx talk, which I recommend everybody to see and watch. Yeah, you said that to break down inequality, we have to think about personal choices in our everyday lives as well, right? We need to
yeah,
try to escape the confines of our spaces and social networks and interact with people who are different from us.
yeah.
Here comes the question. If you are an all powerful producer for a reality TV show, what kinds of people would you put together and what would they have to achieve? Would it be like a Survivor type thing, a Big Brother
Yeah.
setting, a romance show, or something completely else? And from which walks of life would these
Yeah,
participants come
I
from?
mean, I think one of the problems currently that's propping up this idea of the American dream and meritocracy, et cetera, is all those reality shows that have a
Yeah,
competitive
that I
element
love
in
to
it.
watch, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't hate them either. I watch a lot of trashy TV
Yeah, same.
here, like here on Netflix. What is it? Selling Sunset, about a bunch of bimbo real estate agents.
Okay, that's
Lovely.
that. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
definitely
check it
watch that
out.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
very American though.
I've been watching Love Is Blind recently,
Oh yeah, yeah. That
but
was
that one seems even better.
the Love and Blind is interesting. The cultural differences, right? There's been Love and Blind, Love is Blind
Japan.
now in so many countries. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Japanese and the American, it's really stark just how
yeah,
different they are,
absolutely. Yeah.
where things fall apart, and how people present and how they engage with each other. It's very, very, very interesting. Um, I mean, I think there's something really beautiful about the premise of Love is Blind, and I think there's a lot of potential in indeed bringing people together that otherwise wouldn't meet. So yeah, I guess my go-to would be romance as the real life or sort of show of choice. I mean, I just don't see competitive shows to do any good in the world, really, other than perhaps provide entertainment.
Thank you so much. This was incredibly illuminating.